All right, nice. So preparing yourself to be in leadership, preparing yourself for management. How about knowing what you're getting yourself into? you know, you got to know the rules of the game, as well. Remember, they say, I don't make the rules, I just play by 'em. And hey, the company has changed over the years, and they have evolved, as any great company would. And they've made adjustments to benefit everybody. Let's see here. Oh, I was getting a message there. Um, and I've seen it. I could go through some of the differences. What it is today than before, but that would be our whole meeting. You know, and I think let's just understand what it is today. If we understand what it is today, then I can always. So I'm gonna have to keep leaning forward when I get all these messages, just to make sure it's uh, nothing important. Um, but we have uh, today. If we have a good understanding of today and what it is, then if we decided to take some time and share with you about what it was, you'll have a greater understanding of what it was, and a greater appreciation of what it is today. so so first of all, um, when you get promoted, this is future leaders. So when you get promoted, you have to know what's required, right? So the first thing in the contract, it says, when you read your essay contract, it says to obtain and to train agents, something along those lines. But the first thing it says is to obtain. So that means we have to go out and bring in and obtain agents. We have to go get them, which is recruiting. So the first thing in leadership, is you have to understand that it's no longer about producing personal ALP. It's about producing agents that produce ALP. So we have to go get the ALP. We have to forget to get the agents. We have to train the agents and teach them that. Now, if we want to teach our agents how to be leaders, what should we teach them how to do?
Lead.
Recruit.
Okay. I have a question. So with you said you have to train the people to write big ALP, or like ALP like consistently. What are like just a quick note? What are like one or two things that you think are the most specific things that really help them like build that foundation? Obviously, besides the script, and like what are like one or two things besides that you think like really build like them able to make sure they can consistently write ALP?
Activity.
Yeah.
Making sure that you teach your people how to generate enough activity for themselves. If my person, if you were trained by me and you're giving 15 presentations a week and you're not writing 4K, something's busted.
Yeah.
That's it. So I would just drive the activity, and then the counterpart, that what's behind the activity though, is they have to have a good understanding of what's needed, and they have to be fired up, and they have to be able to connect the dots. So I'm able to teach my people how to connect the dots. Like, listen, man, if you're able to make this many calls, you're going to generate this much activity. If you can collect this much referrals, right? Where are we at with the referral collecting for the week? Because we need to be at 60 this week. Because in order to get the activity that we need to get, in order to get to you, to get to your goals, then we're going to need to have at least 60 referrals collected. So we need to make this many calls. We need to see this many people. We need to collect this many referrals. Okay. And that's what I focus on. I don't focus on the ARP. And if you focus on those things, the activity, that ALP takes care of itself. As long as you're going out there and saying what I'm telling you to say and not making up your own shit, I guarantee it works. Guarantee it works. Guarantee it works. Geo was like, he's like, he messaged me yesterday. He's like, I'm going to be sitting in on people's presentations. I'm going to be watching their recordings, and I'm sitting in with everybody because they're saying the wrong shit. I'm like, how could this be? So we're losing sales left and right then, is probably what's happening. Losing referrals left and right. Not losing appointments. We should be booking appointments. We're not booking them. We should have referrals. We don't even fucking have them. People are missing sales out there. Because why? Because we're saying the wrong shit. That's the easiest thing to do, is say words. How could you not say the right words? You mean your brains can't control your mouth? If I would pull my trainees aside, I say, let's do an exercise, okay? We're gonna say dog, cat, blue, green, yellow. Can you say that? Can you say dog, cat, blue, green, yellow? See how I said something and then you said it? What's so hard about that? I've done the presentation for this person millions of times. They got the video. We role played it, gone over it. We can't just be running around out there saying whatever the heck we think we can say. Don't work. Your way don't work. My way works. Say the words that I say, you get the results that I get. The reason you're not getting the results, you're saying some other words. So back to what I was trying to get at before, though, was before, right before you asked me that question, we were talking. What were we talking about before you asked me that question?
Leadership and where it used to be and where it's at now.
Yeah, that's right. So the difference between a leader and a follower, and an adder and a multiplier. You could be an adder, you could be a subtractor, you could be a multiplier, or you could be a divider. What are you? If you're an adder, you're a follower. You're just adding on to the group. An adder is like an agent. If you're a subtractor, that means you're taking away from the group and not adding nothing to it. You're actually coming in and you're subtracting from everybody. You're taking away. You're draining our economy and you're bringing nothing to the table. That's a subtractor. If you're a multiplier, you're a leader. Leaders multiply at different levels. Some leaders multiply and some people are exponential leaders. And they really figured it out, man. They really figured the game out. And they are growing exponentially. Now, the last one is a divider. You probably don't want to be a divider. A divider who is someone who comes into the team and divides everybody. Instead of bringing people together, they bring people apart. You probably don't want to be a subtractor. I don't want to be put in a subtractor category. Like, man, this dude's a leech. He freaking just comes in, drains all my energy. It doesn't bring no results, like nothing to the table. An adder is like a follower. A multiplier is like a leader. That makes sense? So So anyways, if you want to think like, if you need to develop someone to be an agent, you're going to teach them how to do what? Write ALP. If you want to develop someone into leadership, they're going to have to know what?
Recruiting.
How to recruit. You got it. That's the message right there. That's the first message. Is don't think you're going to be just getting into leadership and not have to recruit. Let me just explain to you what you're getting into here. You have to. And if you don't want to, you better have some really good managers that got your back, and they're going to recruit for you because you just are no good at it, or you don't want to do it, or you have some agreement with your MGA, and your MGA says, don't worry about recruiting. I'll handle all the recruiting for you. You just make sure that you do your deal. You're great at training and developing people, and you can write tons of business, and you know the business inside and out. So you train, develop all the people. I'll recruit and find us some top talent, and we can build a team together like that. There are relationships in the company like that, right? However, I'm still telling everybody, I don't really want 100% that to be the relationship forever. Because if that SA always needs someone to recruit for them, and they're never going to grow in leadership.
Right.
And the thing is, you have to be able to develop leaders in leadership. So not only developing followers, you have to develop agents, but you also have to develop leaders, right? Well, if you don't know how to recruit, you don't recruit, you refuse to do it, you don't know how to invest time into it, you don't know how to invest money into it, you don't know how to say the right words, you don't know what to wear in an interview, you don't know nothing about nothing, you don't do no recruiting. When you're in leadership now you're a supervisor, and now your people that you're in charge of leading, they're looking at you and saying, teach me how to be a leader. And all you teach them is how to write ALP. Because you don't know how to teach them how to recruit because you never recruited. That's not exponential growth right there. Exponential growth is when you recruit, and when you recruit the people and you bring them in, you're bringing them in straight for leadership. Like Austin's doing. Austin got people, and these people are brought in, and she said, you're going to be leaders as well. The way you're going to be leaders is you're going to recruit and build your team, because that's the number one thing in leadership is recruiting.
You do a starting 10 for them before they get like even like onboarded with the script. You do that before, or do you do it after?
She got them while they're in the pipeline. Like as soon as they get hired, she's like, go study your test, and then she's like, on Monday, get me your 10. She's got them fired up as soon as they come in. I don't know. You could ask her more. I told her, I said, I don't know what you're saying to them to get them to do this. But the gentleman was hired on Friday, and he sent her an Excel spreadsheet with 100 names on it on Monday that he worked on all weekend.
Holy, that's insane.
Names, addresses, and phone numbers. And he said, I got 60 more as soon as you're ready with them 100. And that's not the only person she got doing that shit. And this dude's a stud, like superstars. This ain't like 74-year-old Betty who's given her address list to Austin. You know what I'm saying? This is a young superstar stud that went through and took the top people from all his business connections in his lifetime, and the ones that he thought would be the best, and hooked her up. So yeah, that's developing a leader. Boom. She got it planted in their head from the beginning of time. This is a recruiting situation in leadership. Like soon, they didn't even get their license yet, and she's already telling them that, right? That's, what that's called on Austin's part? great leadership.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to understand the key in leadership is you have to be able to teach people the true skill set to get to the top of the mountain is not ALP. It is. It's the foundation of everything. It's your strength. It's the muscles. So you have to have muscles to climb a mountain, right?
Right.
You have to have muscles. If you don't have muscles, you fall on the ground. Your legs want to hold your body up, right? You have to have muscles. So the ALP is the muscles, right? But,
yeah.
but the true activities, the skills that get to the top of a mountain is the recruiting skills. It's not running a meeting. It's not figuring out how to make a retention phone call. It's not reading the reports. Like, hey, you could be really great with reading your reports, really great with doing one-on-ones. You can run meetings, the best motivational meetings you could ever run for your team. You could do all this stuff and be the best at it. But those skill sets are not going to help you get to the top of the mountain. It's like, hey, you want to go climb the mountain? All right, perfect. We're going to go to basketball camp next week to get us ready. You're like, why are they going to go teach us how to dribble a basketball to climb a mountain? You understand that skill set, it does not apply to the job that we're trying to get done, right? We have to make sure that we are really good with the skill sets. And dribbling a basketball is not the skill set that's going to help me get to the top of a mountain. The skill set that's going to help me get to the top of the mountain is I better be really good with recruiting, setting first interviews, running a group, doing third interviews, getting people through the pipeline, getting personal interviews set, getting my people to get personals, running ads, talking to personal recruits out there my damn self. I got to be the best at recruiting. That's the skill set. That's whoever's the best is going to climb to the top of that mountain faster. That's it.
I have another question for you because you're talking about the recruiting side, and I'm kind of just like getting into the phone calls now, like calling some RMSs and some of those jot forms. And one of the things that kind of like I was wondering about, I know Gio's in meetings all day, so I thought I'd just shoot you the question first. But when you ask them, like, why do they feel like they excel? Like, what specific things are you looking for to hear? Like, when they say leadership, or like, I have customer service experience, or like, what are those things? Because I know we Vince interviewed this girl for me today that we got on for yesterday, and yeah, and it was like he's like, dude, I was like halfway yes, halfway no, and I kind of want to know what like specific factors or specific things I should be looking out for. That way I don't even like push that third, so I don't have to waste the time, and I can put someone else in that is more qualified.
Yeah, well, on the phone you're talking about, or
yeah, for I guess not like the first call you would do with the RMS, like a jot form call when you just roll them for the third.
Yeah, man, I would just set them, man. I wouldn't prejudge anything really,
Okay.
At that point. Let the third interview do its thing.
Okay.
And the person who does the third interview, that's why they're doing third interviews.
Yeah. And I just wanted to know, so maybe it's like I can like weed out some of the things I would already know that might be like pushed out.
If they got the money, set their ass for a third.
For sure.
That's it. If they got the money, set them up.
Okay, let's do it. Good to know.
Right now, that's the best advice I would give you.
Okay.
Maybe later on, if we start running into situations where it's just like, Wright keeps setting all these third interviews and they're all bums.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start maybe adding one or two screening questions in there, and we can start filling them out a little bit more.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they went through everything. They clicked on register. Did you ever click on register for the group, guys?
Well, when I did the group,
it's different now. So if you're putting people in an interview, if you're buying jot forms, you're calling jot forms, you don't even know what they've been through.
Yeah.
What's going on? I think you should click the link and see what they clicked on.
Okay.
Right? Fill the thing out, go through and watch the seminar, right? And then at the end, there's a questionnaire. You've seen the questionnaire because it shows up in your jot form, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that questionnaire is pretty cool because it asks them on there if they have the money as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would be the only, right now, probably the only thing that I would do because let the third interviewer. That's why they're doing third interviews. They're the best. They can feel people out. They already know what to look for. You will get you there. But the only thing I would be frustrated with is if you were setting people for third interviews that never had the money. That's a waste of my time. That's a waste of my time. Anything else, I wouldn't really be able to make a judgment call over the phone if they're good enough. That's why I can't even make a judgment call when I meet with them for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You're doing a 3-minute phone call. You think you're going to be able to decide if this is going to be a good career or not for them?
Yeah. No, you're right.
So like when I do a third interview, sometimes Vince got all the way down to an end of a third interview and still was like, I don't know, man. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how are you going to do that in 3 minutes over a phone?
Right. No, that's a good point to bring up. I didn't even look at it like that.
It takes the third interview. That's why we do them. That's why we do third interviews. It's a very important part of the interview process.
Right.
It takes that time for us and for them to really get an understanding of who they are, and if who we are. For them, they can get an understanding of what we what we expect from them, and to see if it's going to be a good fit. And I tell them, this is going to be a career. A career is a long-term situation. It's like a business marriage, right? So at the end of this thing, you're going to be retiring with this company. You're never going to need to interview with anybody ever again. Right. And the goal when you get into management leadership is you're going to be sitting on this side of the desk interviewing people.
Yeah.
Let me just tell that to you guys. Think about that. Think about the goal. If you work hard enough, you're coachable enough here, and you work hard enough, you will never need a resume again. Pretty cool. Never need it again. And in fact, you'll be sitting on the other side of the desk saying, did you bring a copy of your resume with you here today? Okay, great. Can I take a look at that? And you're going to be looking at their resumes and deciding if you want to hire them. I don't know, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Talk about job security.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. But here's what you need to know, okay? The reason why you got to hire is because the company puts numbers on it. So when you're an SA and when you are a GA, the first requirement that you have to hit, okay, is here, let me give you the bonuses. You get paid big bonuses. So when you're an SA, you're going to get 125% of whatever the people that you train's bonuses for their first 90 days. And then you're going to get 25% of their bonus forever, as long as you're their SA. When you become a GA, you get 135% of their bonus for the first 90 days, and then you get 50% after that. For everybody on your team, you get 50% of everybody's bonus. So, in order to receive this bonus, you have to have 3 things. The first thing you have to have is you have to have 6,000 ALP gross on your PMP over every 60-day period. So for a 2-month period, you have to have at least 6,000 gross of personal production under your name. Now, so that's a joke, obviously. 6,000 over 2 months. That means 3,000 a month. But here's what some managers will do and they can get stuck if they don't manage this, okay, is like for me, I was writing 6,000 a week, but I was only turning in 6,000 or 8,000 a month under my name. Guess where the rest of my business was going?
Your trainees and your team.
To all my trainees and my team. That's why we built such a strong team and such a strong bond.
Yeah.
So
I'm doing that right now. What do you recommend on like structure?
Let me finish talking.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. So I got to go over. You're asking me questions. I told you there's 3 things. I didn't finish one yet.
Yeah.
So, but then I go on tangents and I'll forget about what the heck we're talking about.
Right.
You guys are taking notes, all right?
Uh-huh.
So anyways, a manager may go out and write way more than $6,000 over 60 days, but they don't pay attention to what they're doing, and they end up putting it under their team because they're getting 125% of their bonus anyways. It's like not really that much of a difference in a paycheck for the situation, if that makes sense. So you over 2 months you wrote 20 grand, but under yourself you only put 5. Next month you're not going to get a bonus off of all those people that you got all that momentum going for, all those superstars that you trained up. Now they're out writing their business, they're out meeting their clients. You're not going to get a bonus off them because we mismanaged our numbers and we didn't know where we were at. So make sure, A, that you always, you have to be consistent. You can't take a week off, month off. You can take time off here and there. Of course, you can't take a week off. You take your time off. Plan it out, obviously. But you miss a whole month, man, that can really mess your numbers up. So that's what I'm saying. 6,000 over 60 days. Just keep track of that. 3,000 a month. If you just make sure you're putting up 6,000 a month of personal production under your name every month, you never got to worry about that problem. If you're focusing on getting 3,000 a month under your name in personal production, you're going to have some problems because now you need to hit 3 and you're focused on hitting 3 a month. Now that leaves too much room for error. If you need to be at 3, you should be at 6. So if you're at 6,000 a month in personal production, and then anything else over that, you can help your team out. Code away to your team. Do that. These are just ideas and suggestions, okay? Every situation is going to be different. That's why we can't treat everything the same. Every situation the same. Well, we got to meet weekly, game plan stuff out. Hey, this one about this situation. What do we do here? This one about this situation. What do we got to do here? What should I do? And we have to plan out on a weekly basis, all that stuff. If I'm going to have to write business, how much should I put under myself? How much should I put under my team? What's the game plan this week, coach? And ask your coach, and they'll tell you. It's easy for them because they've been doing this. It's like second nature, So number 1 is what? What's the first thing you have to do? You have to have 6,000 ALP gross production over 60 days. Cool? Number two is you have to have a new associate every other month as an essay. Or let me rephrase that. The technical way is you have to have 1 new associate every 60 days. So, what's a new associate? That's someone who's never worked with our company submitting a piece of business for the first time. You have to show that you're growing. So if you're a supervisor, they're going to look at the past 60 days. They're going to look at October and November. And during the month of October and November, did you have a new associate come onto your team? Which means they had to submit business, which means they had to what? Get an agent number and be appointed with the company. And they had to have EAP and impact on their computer, or at least EAP. And in order to do all that, they have to do what, guys? Get their license. In order to get their license, they got to do what? Pass their test. In order to pass their test, they got to do what? They got to pay. They got to pay for those. They got to pay for the classes and pass that course, the online course. So they got to pay the money. In order to pay the money, they got to do what? They got to sit in a third interview. In order to get to that third interview, they got to do what? Sit in the company overview. In order to sit in the company overview, they got to get booked for that company overview. So there's a process. It could be a personal. You recruit a personal, they got to go through all that in order to finally come through and become an official new associate for your team. So if you have one new person start during the month of October and November, you'll get your bonus in December, right? But let's say that that person was in October and you didn't have anybody in November. Then that means in December, what do you need? You're going to need one, because if you don't get one, you're not going to get a bonus in January, because November you didn't have one. December you didn't have one. So when it comes time to January, January's bonus is going to depend on what? The last 60 days. So in January, they're going to look at the last 60 days and say, did he have a new associate start? Did she? Did they? If you did, you get a bonus in January. And then in February, they're going to look at December and January. Does that make sense? You'd have 1 over 60 days as an essay. When you become a GA, it goes up to 2. And that's not through your team, that's for you, yourself. So when you're a GA, you may have an essay, and your essay is going to get their new associate, but you still have to get your new associate, and you have to get yours every 2 every 60 days. So for you to get a bonus in January, if you're a GA, let's see here. I can't take this right now. If you are a GA and January's coming around, you would need 2 codes during the month of November and December. Does that make sense, guys? Well, how's that need to look? You can get 1 code in November, 1 new associate in November, 1 new associate in January. And that means you got 2 over 60 days. And that means you can get your bonus in January from your whole team. You can get 0 in November and get 2 in December and be good. You can have 2 in November and 0 in December and be good, because you had 2 over that 60-day period. Those are people that your essays didn't bring, that your essays were getting theirs. These are people that you had come in and they submitted business. They're directly coded to you. When you become an MGA, does anybody know what happens? How many do you need over 60 days when you become an MGA?
4.
4, exactly. Now, those 4 do not need to be directly coded to you. So that means that when you're an MGA, if your SA gets a new associate and your GAs get new associates, if they all get new associates, that counts for your numbers. When you're a GA, the essays don't count for your numbers. You have to get your 2 every 60. They need to get their 1 every 60, personally directly coded to them starting out, which means you're probably riding out with them and putting the business under them and training them. The MGA, it just has to be through their whole team. As long as their team gets 4, because the MGA's job, and protection-wise, guys, the MGA's job is to protect the SA and the GA from having to worry about the team growing. Just know the protection. Know your protection, right? The MGA's job is to protect the SAs and the GAs from having to worry about if the team is growing. Hence, the MGA's job is to make sure that the team is getting hires and they're getting them the right way, that the team's pipeline is being managed. The MGA's job is to make sure that the people are passing their tests, they're coming through, they know what to expect, they know their script, they're getting a Part B before they start, a one-on-one sit-down. A Part B is a one-on-one sit-down with someone before they start to go over everything to make sure that all expectations are out on the table and it's clean and clear. The MGA is doing all this so that the SA and the GA can focus on training and developing the people in the team, and they don't have to focus on the recruiting as much, but they still need to though. But I would say when you're an SA, you're probably 25% focused on the recruiting and 75% focused on the ALP and the training. When you become a GA, it's maybe half and half. 50% got to go there, your other 50 there. You're pulled a lot of different directions. When you're an MGA, it's probably more 75-25. You're spending about 75% of your time organizing, planning, leading the team, which is recruiting, and 25% on the ALP. You're in the field doing a little bit of, you got 25% of your time spent on that. If it's field work, training, overseeing, checking data, reports, stuff, or whatever you're doing to develop and train ALP. If that makes sense. And it's not perfect. That's not the exact, but I'm just saying, like, mentally, if you think about it, the focus when you're an SA, when you're an agent, it's 100% what? ALP.
ALP.
When you become an SA, now it's 75 ALP, 25 recruiting. GA 50-50, MGA 75-25, something like that. So protection-wise now, protection means what? If I'm protected, that means I am safe, right? Safe. So the GA knows that the growth of their team is safe because the GA, or the MGA, I'm sorry, got that part of the business down and is protecting them from that. Their growth is safe. Now the GA is protecting the MGA from what? From having to worry about all the field work, all the training, all the ALP. That's why the GA is called the general. The general is the one that's out there like an army. The general in the army is doing what? Jumping on the horse and leading the team into battle and killing more people than anybody on the team. And that's why everybody follows this mother effer into battle, because every time he goes in, he leads us, kills more people, and comes out alive and brings us all back victorious. That's the general. The general is the field general. But that takes the pressure off the MGA from having to go out in the field and write all kind of business and train everybody, and then the team doesn't grow now, and we're sitting here 5 months later looking at the same 6 people. Because the MGA had to go train people and couldn't focus on keeping the team together, recruiting, developing, and doing all that. That's why it has to be a functional family, not a dysfunctional family. Functional family is the SAs the SAs protect the GAs from doing all the SA stuff. Do you know why the GA is a GA? Because he used to be an SA. And do you know that when that person was an SA, their job was to go over all the upfront training, making sure they knew the script, teaching them how to build folders, teaching them how to build rapport, teaching them how to do the no cost, teaching them all the upfront stuff, right? The SA protects the GA from having to do all the upfront stuff because the GA did it a million times already. They're over it. So the SA does that. But what does the GA protect the SA from, guys? The GA protects the SA from teaching them how to close. The SA loves the GA. Why? Because the GA teaches the SA's people how to be closers. And if I'm an SA and I do a really good job training my person, and I got them all set up, they're great with rapport, they're polished, they all know all their no cost, I hand them over to the GA, I can't wait for my GA to get their hands on them because now my GA is going to turn them into ALP machines. And then the GA gets them, me, the GA, the MGA helps. The MGA does a review with them. And we get them released now. And this person's out there lighting the world on fire. That's called a good relationship. If the SA does a good job preparing, the GA does a good job of teaching them how to be closers, and the MGA oversees all this and makes sure it's happening properly because they're the master general agent. That's what the MGA is. They mastered this stuff by now. So that's the protection that you have to understand in the hierarchy. And I think that's the best way that you can work. So remember now, the second thing is you have to get your new associates, right? Well, in order to guarantee that, guys, whatever you hire per week will typically become a new associate for you per month. So if you look around and you're like, man, I've been getting about one hire per week over the last 60 days. One hire per week. Then guess how many people you should expect to start for you next month? Guess how many new people you're going to have come into your team?
One.
You got it. Now, if you're an SA, if you have one person start per month, you're good. Technically, you can have one person start every other month and you'll be good. But remember, those are called the minimums. Those are the bottom of the barrel minimum requirements in order for you to earn a bonus. And if you're hitting minimums, guess what kind of bonus you're going to be getting? The minimum bonus as well. So just so you know, if you're shooting for one new person every other month, that's called slow growth. And you're going to be very upset at the end of the year when you're like, damn, I had no growth. Because slow growth is no growth. You got it. So we got to be growing it more than that. So anyways, if you're getting one hire per week, though, you're going to start with one new person per month. Now that, guys, that can be considered growth. I will tell you, if you're a supervisor and you just grow by one person per month, that's not a horrible, horrible situation. Okay? That would be a decent start right there. Decent. Now, let's say that your team is getting 2 hires a week. Then you're going to be generating 2 new people per month. So you got to think, how many new people per month do I need to generate in order to be at my goal by when? Do we got a goal by July? And do we got a goal by the end of the year? I'd have 2 goals. Where do I want to be by July? Where do I want to be by January of next year? Where do I want to be by halftime? Where do I want to be by the end of the year? You know, do you want to have 20 people at halftime and 50 by the end of the year? You know, what's your number? How many people? And if you need to have 20, then you're going to have to start adding, you know, over the next 6 months. You know, if you don't lose one single person, you're going to have to add 3 people a month. That'll add 18 on top of your 2, and that'll put you at 20. But that's without losing anybody, right? So let's say each month, you know, 1 or 2 people ended up, you know, not working.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not even going to say not working out. I'm just going to say not working.
Yeah.
And they, so there's 6 off of that, right? So you're probably going to need to have to start probably 30 to end at 20. You know, 30 is going to have to come through for you to end at 20. So 30 over 6 months is how many? That's 5 per month. So you're going to have to get 5 hires per week now, every single week. And when you do that, you're going to pick your head up in July, and you would have probably have started about 30 people, and you'd have 20 of them rocking with you, you know? So you got to know those numbers, right? But the new associate, you know, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Who knows, right? Actually, I was watching the 700 Club the other day, and, you know, does anybody know the guy on the 700 Club? He's like 100 years old, and he knows like everything, I feel like. He's like, well, the chicken, obviously, you know, God made the chicken first. So, you know, that's crazy. With 37 years old, I finally found the answer. You know, randomly, the 700 Club popped on TV after like the kids were watching a TV show, and I saw this old guy sitting on TV. I'm like, thinking that he has to know a lot of stuff. And the lady goes, she made a joke. She's like, yeah, it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? And he's like, well, we already know the answer to that. You know, God created the chicken. So the chicken came first. I was like, okay, if you say so, man. But whatever. But in this business, what came first, the hire or the new associate? The hire. Without the hire, there is no new associates. So we have to be good at what? Once again, recruiting. So the number 2 thing we just went over, guys. Number 1, 6K over 60 days, right? Number 2 is what? New associates over 60-day requirements. You have to know them. They have to submit a piece of business, 100 ALP, and it'll count. Okay? And number 3, in order for you to make sure you get a bonus in leadership, these are the 3 requirements to earn a bonus in leadership. The third one, anybody want to guess?
Retention.
You got it.
Oh,
Retention.
I could guess too.
Okay, yeah. It was an educated guess. So yes, retention. You know, and what they're going to look at is they're going to look at your team retention. So you have to be mindful that when you write personal business, yeah, that's part of your team. Of course, you're part of your team. But when your team writes business, that also falls right under your name. That's under your number. Those are all businesses through your accounts. Now, the percentage of it is going to be different than the agent. It's going to be a big percentage of the agent's accounts. It's smaller for us in leadership because it's a smaller percentage override. Okay. But it still affects your book of business because it's like net to gross. If your team grosses 100,000, but they had $40,000 fall off, they're going to be at 60,000 net. 100. That's a 60% net to gross. That's not a good retention number to be looking at, right? So you have to just know what the numbers need to be, and you have to do everything, and you can't skip nothing when it comes to retention. If it says to make sure solidification is going on, well, that's your fault. If business is falling off your team's book of business because your people are not doing good solidification. You're calling to place policy modifications, and the clients are like, nobody told me it could get rated. because you're not doing rated risk. You're not teaching your people how to do rated risk. Business is falling off the books. You're not sending thank you cards. Your team's not sending thank you cards. You're not taking pictures with them in the home. We're not sending them the stuff we're sold them 3 weeks ago. They still haven't got their stuff in the mail. When I say everything, you got to do it all. All. It needs to be set up right, build rapport right. You got to make sure you brush your teeth the right way that day. You got to make sure you look good. You didn't miss a hair when you were shaving. I mean, you can't miss a hair when you're shaving, or your retention is going to go down. That's how you got to be thinking about retention. Is I got to cross my T's and I got to dot my I's and I got to do everything by the books. And I got to be so adamant about that. And if somebody doesn't do it, I'm like off my rocker. I'm like, bro, what's going on here? It's been 3 days and you still haven't mailed this to the person? What are we waiting for? We should have been in the mail the next day. How many sales have you made? You made 3 sales over the last 3 weeks and it's taking you 3 days. I mean, you should be mailing this shit like as soon as you sold this person. It's not like you got 47 sales going on over here. I'd be all over that shit. I don't allow nothing. It got to be perfect. You see me in the office. If that picture is a little bit crooked, I can't walk by the shit. Well, walk by, oh, that picture's crooked. Every time I walk by, the damn picture's crooked. I'm not going to allow that shit to happen. It drives me crazy. It has to be perfect with retention. And that's how you need to be with your own personal retention. And when your team sees how you are, they're going to know that you expect the same shit from them. And anytime you see them slipping up or forgetting to do something or missing something, you checked it. I want you to check the thank you cards and make sure they're being sent. And when they fill out the name and address, you make sure that every T is crossed. If the girl's name is Christy, I want the I dotted and the T crossed. And you checking that shit. That's how you got to be inspecting. Retention is you inspect what you expect. And I expect perfection when it comes to retention. No bullshit. And here's the best way to do it is when your team writes an application, you look at their applications before they get sent off to home office. And as long as it's a good deal, we don't got nothing to worry about. But the deals that get sent off with question marks on them that are questionable, those are the ones I'm like, oh man, this is like rolling the dice. I don't like that. I like guarantees. That's why I got into life insurance. You know? So make sure that you know what's your retention need to be, guys? What's the company's average retention right now? Anybody know?
83%.
77 is the company's average retention internationally. You know what you have to have yours at to get a bonus?
80 above 73, right?
It's 73. So they give you a 4% break. Company average is 77. You could be at 73 and get the bonus. Our agency, what's our number in our agency?
80, right?
80. If anybody has retention numbers that are under 80, they must be on a proactive retention plan. If you come in at 78, you're like, oh, I'm good. No, you're not good. You're not at 80. You guys see, people in AIL, I've just 12 years, guys, 12 and a half years. People go like this, oh, I need to be at 73. So guess what they do? They try and get to 73, and then they end up at 71 or something. You have to be at 80. Mentally, if we're not at 80, we're losing tons of money. Every percentage of retention that goes down for you drastically decreases the amount of renewals that you're getting. Therefore, if we can work diligently to make sure that we get our retention up by an extra 1%, it is such a profound impact on your accounts and on the amount of income that gets paid out to you down the line. I'm telling you, it's a big difference. And one day I'll break it down for you a little bit more and you'll see. So those are the 3 things I wanted to go over with you guys today to make sure you know what it takes to get a bonus. And the other day I met with, Gio and the MGA team, and tomorrow we're going to have a managers meeting, and I'm going to break it down for everybody. But, these are the bare bone minimums, like just to get a bonus and stuff. So, I hate even talking about these numbers because they're so small. But we're going to go over when you blow the numbers out of the water, okay, and you're getting bonuses and big fat bonuses, what that looks like. Because, I can't even go into it right now. I'll just give you a preview. We figured out for Gio next year how he could, on a quarterly basis, be earning $200,000 quarterly bonuses. So I'm talking about, in July, because Gio is going to be able to qualify for this, not the first quarter, but the second quarter of next year. We figured for him, if we execute this game plan, he should get $189,000 quarterly bonus. Imagine him getting $189,000 check for the quarter. That's what he's going to be getting next year. We figure he should probably make about $1 million next year. So you're going to watch Gio make $1 million. And we started from scratch 8 months ago.
Come on, let's go.
So I'm going to show you guys that. And the path is all math. It's 2 + 2 = 4. That's what it is. So we'll go over that tomorrow morning. But that was exciting. Go over that with them. But we went over that last night when I was at the office, and yeah, that's probably all we'll probably go over today. I think we, it's almost been about an hour or so. I didn't check the time on this one, but I think we're good. Unless you got any other questions. I know, right, you did have one question earlier. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good. You kind of proactively answered it. Honestly, I should have waited. So.
All right, cool.
Hey, I was gonna say, Tommy. First of all, I think I'm gonna start calling you Coach V. I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna start that up because I want my culture to be built around, business athletes like yourself. And another thing I was gonna mention is that I feel like with some of the videos on YouTube, I feel like we should list them instead of having them public. Like there's some leadership videos that were uploaded a couple days ago. I keep track with the YouTube channel all the time. Like I was just watching Ryan Ohm's Sales Coffee. It was great even the second time. But I realized that some of those videos they might not be good for everybody to see, just because we're giving out information that we don't want everybody, other agencies or any other people to just be able to see. So yeah. I don't know what we would have to do to kind of like unlist them maybe, and then just make them not private, but just unlisted, and you have to have a link through the agency to be able to look at them.
Yeah. I just had the guy go on and just upload all the videos for us, and then I didn't even know he started uploading them, so I'm glad he did. But
Yeah,
I'll
a bunch
go
of leadership videos. I mean, I watched a couple of the leadership videos, but when I'm watching, I'm just like, do we really want these videos to be on our public YouTube channel? Probably not. You know, probably just for the agency.
I'll click them unlisted for sure. I think I
Or
can
just
go.
want to let you know that.
I think I can do that
Yeah.
myself through the app.
Another thing I was going to suggest is that for our training classes and different types of videos, I feel like we should put like a even if I gotta help you do it, like we should put together a cover art for every video. So like if we got training class videos, we'll have a cover art on it and it'll say training class. Because all of our videos right now, it's like like it'll be like a screenshot of like Jackie writing something down, or like you in the middle of the room like this, or you know,
with his hands up.
yeah. So like if we put like a cover on all of them, it'll make it like kind of organized visually so that people could go on, oh, okay, this is a training class video, and then, you know, this is a agency huddle, you know?
Yes, bro. Yes, you're right. 100%, man. It would look more professional, but also functionality wise, it would allow people to just use it better, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I'll definitely help you with that too, because that's good. That's the fun stuff, doing cover arts and stuff like that. We just got to talk about it and figure out what you want to look like, and then we'll be able to go from there.
Okay, what would your idea be? You know, would it be like well, let's talk about this later. Let's get off of here.
Okay.
But let's set up a time. You know, I'll be in the office all day tomorrow. So why don't we just hook up when you're in there and you know, pop in my office for a couple minutes and we'll go over it.
Sounds good.
All right, man. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Let's get
Have a good day.
Not a bad day yesterday, guys. Looks like we did about $14,000 in damage yesterday. If we can keep up that pace, we should be right where we need to be. Today, I think, you know, what the number was 16,700. So I was calling it 17K. If we can come up with 17,000 today, I mean, we are going to be well on our way to hitting our number we need as an agency, which is 77,000 this week.
You can count me and Marvin in for 2 today for sure.
All right, man. I'm gonna go mark that down on my book.
Yeah, hold me to it, because I swear we'll do it. Marvin's gonna be writing a lot of business. We're training him up.
Love it, bro. Love it, man. Keep it going, bro. You guys are rocking right now.
Sorry.
See you guys.
Thanks, Tommy.